Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Catriel. So, how are you guys doing today? We just had last week summer solstice. We're now in the middle of Cancer season, and a lot of watery emotions have been coming up for me. You know, there's this shift, from Gemini, where there's a lot of productivity, there's innovative ideas, there's, lots of communication, and all mixed in with a Mercury retrograde, which is kind of funny. And then we transition into an energy of water rather than in air. And within this water is some deep healing I've noticed coming up for myself. It's showing up in my thoughts, it's showing up in my feelings, it's showing up in my physical body, and with spiritually, and all of it's so perfect and divine. What did happen this past week that's kind of shaken me up to my core, really, is the night of the summer solstice, my cousin passed away. And I'll speak more about that. I'm doing my best to even talk about this. So it's been 1 week. I'm not really sure when I'm airing this episode, but it's been 1 week since my cousin passed away, and it's been very difficult to process that. I was told while I was in the car, I was driving, and my mom called me, and she starts off the conversation, with telling me I received my taxes, and I'm like, okay, and thank you. And then the next thing was oh, by the way, and I realized she realized after that it really shook me up, and she didn't really necessarily mean to tell me in that way, because honestly, this came to a shock. It was a shock to her. It was a shock to my dad. It was a shock to my family. We didn't even know how to respond. And I'm going through the energetics of this because, one, it's helping me process, and two, there's a bigger picture here. Bigger picture is how did my cousin pass? Well, my cousin passed because there was a situation at in his ex's house with his, daughter, where they were having certain communication, and it was, we don't really know exactly everything that did happen, but essentially police were called because he was having an emotional breakdown. And beginning of Cancer season, literally summer solstice, bringing this energy in, right? Then the police got there, and he was shot. Was not armed. He did not have a body cam. None of it. Nothing to show exactly what happened. Just all hearsay. And I know this topic is raw in this day and age, in this society where we live. This is happening all the time. And the first thing that how I responded was, does anybody how do we value life? How do we value life? What does it mean to us? Right? Well, for me, I can only speak about myself, is I value life so dearly, And I feel not only my own emotions, but others. I was gifted being an empath. And as all of these emotions are going through my being, I'm realizing that not all of them are my own, because I was gifted this ability and I'm open to it, I'm open to being an empath. I sometimes can, essentially I'm taking on, certain emotions, being able to feel through them on behalf of my family. It's a great responsibility, because with great power comes great responsibility, And that being said, that can go deeper. Why? Well, let's go back to that situation. So this officer, first of all, I thank all the officers out there that are protecting us, right? But when you put on that suit, you have great power, right? And a great responsibility. And by putting on this suit, integrity must be worn. Different perspective needs to be worn. Inspired action needs to be worn as well. Respect. Responsibility, right? You're not only protecting your life, all the lives around you, even the one that you may have gone out there for the situation. So that means you need to be on your best game, your best self. And so I'm calling out into this universe of all these beautiful beings around us. I'm calling out for change, because something needs to change. We cannot keep hearing about these stories of officers going out on duty, not having a cam on, having these situations be hearsay. Why? Okay, first of all, when you have a bad day, right? Okay, beginning of cancer season, summer solstice, talking to those of you who understand energy, right? Energy's powerful. Sometimes you get emotional. Sometimes you need to scream. Sometimes you need to cry. Sometimes you need to express those emotions, right? Yeah, and there's a way to do so, right? But here's the thing. Clearly, this is a very complex situation, right? My cousin is having an emotional breakdown, probably because of all of the things he's been through. That he was not having the proper outlets to release those emotions. Not to mention he was a veteran. Imagine being in the military and whatever stories he could have told from that experience, whatever he experienced, right? And so that right there is a lot of energy. Secondly, just even wrapping this around my mind right now. And that's the thing. It's not making sense, right? I mean, it makes sense from the point of view is, one, we need change. We need to shift things, especially within the veterans. Proper care, mental stability, right? We have beings in our United States who volunteer to serve and protect, okay? And then they don't have the proper tools to integrate back into society. Wrong, not good, okay? I mean, for instance, in Israel, everyone serves and they have an integration period. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I'm saying there's something. Where are we bridging the gaps here in America? Secondly, we have officers who want to do their job. They have bad days as well, but it should not end up in death because, one, their stress levels are so high that they don't have the tools they need to release their emotions, and they don't have the proper training to, instead of pull out a gun and shoot the person in front of them because they're acting, very emotional. Sorry, that's not, I feel there's other solutions that could have been there. Like, I don't know, call for backup. Clearly, there were not enough officers on the scene. He was alone. So that's not good. Secondly, we've already mentioned the cam, okay? So that doesn't exist. Okay, so is it the reason he did not have a cam is because of the funding? Well, we need to really gain funds for the officers then to be able to have the tools they need, right? Let's reevaluate the gun situation, okay? That should be last resort. And why does it have to be a gun? Why can't it be a tranquilizer? I realize guns exist, and that's how society is right now. Okay? And I'm not really fond of guns, but it is a thing. But how we make a change is when someone speaks up and we change it. Are there other alternatives? What are some other things that could have, you know, been a thing. Okay, so I was a psychology student, right? And one of the things that we learned was de-escalation training, okay? To de-escalate a situation. Excuse me. Well, if you're a police officer, like, that is a really good training to have under your belt because of the fact that, you know, last resort should be your gun. Not to mention, you know, he's unarmed. So maybe like other alternatives would be teaching our, you know, our police officers like martial arts, Krav Maga. Like, there are a number of things we can do to shift this, okay? Because this is not okay. I should not have to get off the phone with my mom and find out that my cousin literally was shot by a police officer, unarmed, because he was having a bad day. I don't know what happened specifically, but I am giving you facts of what I do know. And, you know, I do apologize for anything in regards to any energy that was directed towards the police officer. But, you know, there's a protocol. And so, yeah, like, a little pause there. Things need to shift in this society, and we have the power to do that. We have the power to take a step in a direction that brings peace to everyone. And I'd like to hear your creative solutions, because we have the power with our voice. We have the power to shift things. I keep repeating that, but it's true. I just want to take a moment of silence on behalf of my cousin. And one moment of silence for my cousin and also my family. So my cousin's name is Virgil-lee Taylor. And Verge, I know you can hear me up there. You are an amazing guy. Like, you really were. And very loving guy. I am proud to have been your cousin. You know, I remember the times where we'd go out to the lake. We'd take out the wakeboard and go on your dad's boat. You know, that was the first time I ever wakeboarded. And, you know, like, we've had some good summers. And Nate and Corina, I'm here. I'm here for you. And I know this is a time of, you know, great sadness, and can't even imagine what you're going through. But no, my whole audience here is supporting you. And, you know, as I read the report on the news from the online, I saw what you wrote, Corina. You know, and we have the chance to make great changes because of what happened with Virg. And I know he would want change. I know he would want a better place for his daughter to live in. And so again, I say, please reach out to me if you have any innovative ideas on how to change this situation to where we can not have this happen anymore. The day that this doesn't happen anymore, we've done something right. That doesn't mean we can't do anything right to get there. So please contact me. I'm on Facebook, Catriel DeWitt. Message me. My email is kevindwitt1107@gmail.com. Please. And I will have you on this podcast if you'd like to speak out against injustice and change. Make a change. And so I thank you all, divine, beautiful souls. This is Catriel, and Energy Speaks. Over and out.